Let's begin with our prayers. Please repeat after me for offering prayers to Lord Shri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So let's do the Mangalacharan prayers all together. Om
Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरु हे कृष्ण
तप्त कांचन गौरांगी
राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय,
जय
श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's welcome back to our Bhagavad Gita discussion weekly. So we are discussing the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, and so far we have learned about lots of Vibhuti or Aishwarya or opulences of Lord Shri Krishna. So so how he mentioned that everything what you see even in this world that is supreme, know that that is me or that is because of me. And then and then last week he said that he is the generating seed of everything that exists here. Krishna is the source of all that exists, and there is no being, moving or non-moving, can exist without Krishna. There is no end to his divine manifestation. So everything that is divine, there are unlimited opulences. There are no limit to his opulences. And he says that what I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So his opulences are unlimited. And even in the beginning, when he starts describing, he says that I am going to tell you something that are very prominent and that you can understand. So further, today we will discuss the last two shlokas of this chapter. Yad yad vibhūtimat sattvaṁ
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्स्यत्वम्
yad yad vibhūtimat sattvaṁ
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्स्यत्वम्
śrīmad ūrjitam va
श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा
śrīmad ūrjitam va
श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा
tat evāvagaccha tvaṁ
तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वम्
तत्तदेवावगच्छ त्वम्
तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वम्
मम तेजोषसम्भवम्
मम तेजोषसम्भवम्
मम तेजोंशसम्भवम्
मम तेजोषसम्भवम्
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वम्
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्स्यत्वम्
श्रीमद् वा
श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा
तत्तत् एवावगच्छ त्वम्
तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वम्
मम तेजोंशसम्भवम्.
मम तेजोषसम्भवम्.
Okay, we can get one recitation. Madhu Prabhu, you want to recite, please?
यद् यत् विभूतिं मत्वं सत्त्वं
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्स्यत्वम्
श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा
श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा
तत्तदेव गच्छत्वम्
तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वम्
मम तेजोंससम्भवम्
मम तेजोषसम्भवम्.
मधु तुका इंग्लिश वाचतो का रे?
दोन्ही बघतो खालचं.
दोन्ही बघितलं की सोपं पडतं ते.
तेच म्हणलं इंग्लिश
इथे अनुस्वार विसरलाय, इथं राहिलाय. तेजोंश संभवम, तेज अंश संभवम असा आहे तो. संस्कृत याच्यात अनुस्वार दिसत नाही आम्हाला तिथे. तेजोंश संभवम.
तेजोंश संभवम. ओके.
अंश.
या.
So yad means whatever. विभूती मीन्स ऑप्युलन्स, जे आपण आता कृष्णाबद्दल ऐकतोय ते. मत मीन्स हॅव्हिंग. सत्वम मीन्स एक्झिस्टन्स. श्रीमत मीन्स something that is most beautiful. Shrimat. Shri is beauty. Mat means one who is beholder of that beauty. Shrimat. Ūrjitam means glorious or something that is very opulent. Eva means certainly. Va means or. Tat. All those. So yad म्हणजे जे काही होतं ते, आणि tat म्हणजे ते सर्व काही. All those. Eva means certainly. Avagaccha means must know. Tvam means you. Mama means my. Teja means splendor. Amsha means a small fragmental part. Sambhavam means born of. So here he's saying, after explaining all these different types of vibhutis, know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Very, very bold statement. So he's saying that whatever I have told you, I described you that I am Sthavaranam Himalaya, of all the non-moving entities, I am Himalaya. Kima Rudranam Shankaroshchasmi, that of all the Rudras, I am Shankara. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Whatever opulences I have described you, that is fair. In previous verse, we learned that they are just a simple glimpse or small example of all these opulences, and his opulences are unlimited. But here he is saying that know that everything what you see that is opulent, beautiful, and glorious, sattvaṁ, śrīmad, and ūrjitam, opulent, beautiful, and glorious, in these creations that spring from but a small spark of my splendor. Mama teja ṁśa-sambhavam. ते संभव झालंय केवळ माझ्या तेजाच्या एका स्मॉल अंशामुळे. So very bold. Means imagine how glorious Krishna must be. Everything that glorious is just born of a spark of his splendor. So Chandrakant Prabhu, small purport. You want to read quickly?
Yeah. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence.
Thank you, Prabhu. So everything. So, and we talked about this, several parts we probably have already touched on, but everything opulent we see, and forget about everything opulent we see in this universe. The whole universe also is such opulent, and I think Rajesh Parve Prabhu once described about this. When we see that this earth is a very small part of the solar system, which is a very small part of the whole galaxy, and there are many galaxies in this universe. And there are innumerable new universes that spring from Krishna. And that all the universes are just a small part of his energy. The whole creation is small part of energy. So imagine what his energy is. And that's where with our limited understanding, with our limited brain, it is very, very difficult for us to comprehend what God is, what Krishna is. And it is beyond our perception that when we say that God is a person and he's Krishna. And that's why it is very difficult for many religious personalities who have full faith in God, for them also to accept that God is a person. Because they think that, oh, why are you limiting God as a person? But they do not understand, even though God is a person, he is the supreme person, and from him everything that is emanent. He has a form not like us, but his form is transcendental or beyond our sense perception, beyond our imagination, beyond our understanding. That type of form he has. As Brahmaji says in the very first verse of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara means controller. The literal meaning of Ishvara is controller. So every living entity to some degree is a controller. We all have little control over certain things, but we do not have full control even our own body for that matter. But Ishvara Parama means supreme. Beyond Parama there is nothing. Parama is supreme. So Parameshwara or Ishvara Parama is who? Krishna. That's what Brahmaji says. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Now the question may come that Ishvara Parama Krishna, then he may not have a form, but he says Satchidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. So the deity what we worship in temple, which we render service to in the temple, is called Archa Vigraha. Vigraha means a murti or deity or form which Krishna appears in front of us in the form of Archa Vigraha so that we can offer some service to him. Because otherwise we are not even qualified to offer him service. But he accepts in the form of deity. And that's why it is called Archa Vigraha. So we can do archan of that Vigraha. But his original form, his original Vigraha is Satchidananda. Sat means eternal, which never perishes, because our form is always goes through 6 different types of transformations, or 6 different types of vikara is called Shad Vikara. Vikara means transformation. So our form always goes through 6 different types of transformations. Those are described that it comes into existence, which we generally call as birth or appearance. Then it grows, then it creates some byproducts, or in case of animals or humans, we give birth to children. In case of fruits and flowers, they create fruits and seeds, and then again they recreate. So they create byproducts. Then they stay for some time, then starts dwindling or decaying, and then they vanish. So these 6 Shadvikara, 6 transformations, all the forms in this material world go through. But Krishna's form is eternal. So Sat. Chit means it is full of knowledge. It is complete of knowledge. It is full of complete knowledge. And that's why he is actually the source of all the knowledge. So Sat Chit and Ananda. It is full of bliss. Everything in this material world is incomplete, or it is, so our body is actually Asat, Achit and Nirananda. Asat means it is temporary, it is not eternal. Achit means it is full of ignorance, and Nirananda means it's full of anxiety or full of distress. There is no Ananda in this form of body what we have. The little Ananda or Sukh what we experience is actually for a temporary, for a short time, when we get free from our miseries. That's what we consider as Ananda. But there is no Ananda in this material world. So he has a form that is Satchidananda Vigraha. And he is Anadi. He has no beginning. Anadi means beginning. Anadi means one who has no beginning. Anadi, but he is Adir means he is the origin of everything. Adir Govinda, and he is Govinda. Go means cow, go means senses, go means also the planetary systems or earth. So one who gives pleasure to cows, or one by serving him we get pleasure to our senses. That is Govinda. Anadiradir Govinda. And Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. For him there is no cause. He is the supreme cause. Because many times people say that if God created man, God created everything, who created God? Nobody has to create God. He always exists. And even Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya says, Narayana para avyaktat, means before everything was existed, Narayan was always there. He is para, he is beyond this vyakta avyakta. And that's why nobody has to create God. He creates everything. But in general, people think from our perspective, if everything has to be created, then somebody has to create God also. So who created God? Or somebody sometimes say that man created God because he wanted to fear something. So it is just imagination. That also sometimes I hear. But that argument itself has fallacy, because if we have to fear something, we have so many things to fear for. We don't need God to fear for. So Krishna is source of everything. And that's what he's saying. Because he's source of everything, so everything that is opulent you see here, everything that is beautiful you see, or everything that is glorious you see, that is everything coming from me. That is just a spark, mama tejo ṁśa-sambhavam. That is just a small ṁsha of my teja. And that's why if you see, everything about him is most glorious. And because this instruction, the Bhagavad Gita, what we are reading, is given by Krishna himself, and that's why it is called Bhagavad Gita. Gita or song of God, literally speaking. So he is given in this song the most important instruction for the whole humanity, or rather for all living entities. So that is Bhagavad Gita. And that's why, because it is song of God, it is the most beautiful, and that's why it is also called as Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
There is no other thing is called Śrīmad. Only other thing that is called as Śrīmad is Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Purana. So Bhagavan and everything related to Bhagavan is Bhagavata. So Bhagavata Purana or Śrīmad Bhagavatam describe all the glories of everything that is related to Bhagavan. So it describes, in the 10th canto, it describes his pastimes from his childhood. But before going to 10th canto, one has to be purified completely and has to understand what really God is. Because if we don't understand what really God is, we cannot imagine how can God be a small child. How can he take birth in this material world? How can he take birth just like an ordinary child and still perform something that is extraordinary? To understand that, that's why the Krishna Leela starts in the 10th canto in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, because before that 10th canto, in the 9th canto, established the supremacy of God. It describes from the very first verse of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, establishes that Janmadhyasya yatah, that everything is possible only from God. He is the source of everything. It starts with one of the most important aphorisms or Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya yatah anvayaditaratascha artheshu, and he is abhignya swarat. He is completely independent. He is the only independent person. We may claim to be independent from this British rule or this Mughals or Congress or something, but we are not completely independent. We are always, always, always dependent on something. But only God can be independent. We are all dependent ultimately on Him, directly or indirectly. Because we are dependent on this material nature. Imagine if there is no air tomorrow, we cannot breathe. There is no water, we cannot live. There is no sunshine, we cannot even imagine. So all this material creation, or what we call as Prakriti, we are dependent on Prakriti. And that Prakriti, Krishna said in the 9th chapter, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. That this Prakriti works under my adhyakshata, under my direction. Which Prakriti is support of chara and achara, all that is moving and non-moving. So he is the only independent. That is what very first verse of Śrīmad Bhagavatam establishes, and then eventually it glorifies how everything is created, the whole universe, how this is working, what are the elements of the universe, everything. In the 5th canto, then the whole cosmology is described. How many planetary systems are there? 14 planetary systems in single universe. There are 7 upper, 7 lower. We are in the middle. And below the last Patala, or the 14th planetary system, that is called Patala Loka. Below that, there are 27 different types of hellish planets. All this description very vividly given in the 5th canto. Then in the 6th canto, there are different pastimes, how different devotees glorify, and then all these are described. So by 9th canto in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, we understand how glorious God is. Then one can understand in the 10th canto that same God can also appear as a small child also, and then he can perform wonderful activities even from the childhood, because he doesn't have to become God, he is God. One cannot become God by a certain tapasya or reading some Vedic literature or by some difficult adventure or by some yoga. No, nobody can become God. God is always God. Even he comes as a small child, or he comes as a Narsingadev, or he comes as a small Vamandev, or he comes as a fish, or Kurma, or Varaha. It doesn't matter. He is always God. He is always supreme. And that's why Bhagavatam is also called as Śrīmad Bhagavatam, because it is the most beautiful description of different Leela, different pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of Bhagavan himself. And that's why only these two scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, are called as Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And that's where he is also calling here Śrīmad. Everything that is Śrīmad, that is coming from my ṁśa, teja ṁśa. So I think I just wanted to mention that. We can talk a lot, but I think I'll stop here and then we can go to the next verse. Any thoughts before we move on to the next shloka? Hare Krishna, Sunil Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण राधारंजन दास प्रभूजी सॉरी लेट झाला दुसऱ्या एकाच्यात अडकलो होतो
नाही काय हरकत नाही. Thank you for your association. So any thoughts before we move to the next verse, Prabhu?
Okay, it emphasizes the supremacy of the Lord actually, and this is true. Everything सगळं जे आहे ते काय म्हणतात त्याला, these are the opulences म्हणा किंवा normal things also running because of the God. संपूर्ण हा म्हणजे 10th 10वा अध्याय जो आहे सगळा याच्यावरच दिलेला आहे. It is very clear actually.
No, one thing that he very clearly says is everything is one ṁśa. The message in it is that even we are one part of Sri Krishna, one ṁśa, one subset, which is what actually makes it all the more important for us to realize why it is important to be kind to everything. Hinduism actually worships everything. Tree, stone, dog, you name it. Every single thing is worth worshipping.
Actually, yeah, sorry, please finish your thought. Yeah, please.
No, I finished. Me Hare Krishna bolo.
So, not worshipping, worship is only for Bhagwan, but everything, because it is his energy, has to be engaged in his service. That is the way our Vedic literature tells. Just like I think we talked about this example. If I work for a company and my company gives me laptop, the laptop is also part of organization. But if I use that for the service of the organization, then it is the proper use of that laptop or car or anything what we get from the organization. But if I try to exploit it and try to use it for my own enjoyment, then it is misuse. if I use my company laptop and start watching Netflix on that all the time without doing company's work, then it's a misuse of that laptop or misuse of that thing that is given to me. So when we understand that idaṁ sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat, that everything belongs to Krishna and everything that therefore has to engage in his service, that is the proper use of everything that exists in this material world. And that's where we recite, right? Kayena vacha manasa indriye deva. Buddhyatmana va prakriti svabhava. Karomi yatyat sakalam parasmi. Narayaneti samarapayami. That everything, including my body, kaya, vacha, manasa, my body, my ability to speak, vacha, my mind, prakriti, the whole nature of what is given to me, swabhava, my inbuilt nature, whatever I have, buddhi, everything what I have should be engaged in what? Everything what I do with all these abilities what I have is Narayanati samarapayami. I offer to Narayana. That is the proper use of everything I have, including my body.
Yes.
So yes, everything is Krishna's property that has to be engaged in his service.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, last shloka of this, and he emphasizes on what we learn further in this verse actually. So he says that, okay, let's recite this. Athava bahunaitena,
अथवा बहुनैतेन
अथवा bahunaitena,
अथवा बहुनैतेन
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन,
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन,
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
विṣṭabhyāhamidaṁ kṛtsnam,
विṣṭabhyāहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
विṣṭabhyāhamidaṁ kṛtsnam,
विṣṭabhyāहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
ekāṁśena sthito jagat.
एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
jagat.
ekāṁśena sthito jagat.
एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
अथवा बहुनैतेन,
अथवा बहुनैतेन
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन,
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
विṣṭabhyāhamidaṁ kṛtsnam,
विṣṭabhyāहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
ekāṁśena sthito jagat.
एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
Okay, we'll take one recitation. Sunil Prabhu, you want to recite, please?
अथवा बहुनीतेन
अथवा बहुनैतेन
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
विष्टभ्यहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
विष्टभ्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
एकमेकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
Thank you, Sunil Prabhu. So, word for word meaning athva. So, this is familiar word to us. Or bahuna means many. Etena means by this kind. Kim means what. Jñātena means by knowing. Tava means your. Arjuna means he is referring to Arjuna here. Hey Arjuna. Viṣṭabhya means pervading. Aham means I. Idaṁ means this. Kṛtsnam means entire or whole, complete. Eka means one. ṁśena means small fragmental part. Sthitah means am situated. Jagat means universe. So now after telling all these opulences and saying that everything emanates from him, all that is glorious and vibhuti is small spark for me. He further says, emphasizes on that. But what need is there, O Arjuna, for all these detailed knowledge? With a single fragmental part of me, I pervade and support this entire universe. So imagine what he's saying further. I have explained you all this, these opulences, and that, okay, I am this great, and this is me, and this is me. And then I told you that everything, all that is glorious, beautiful, and opulent comes from just small spark for me. And they said, but what is the need for this to explain all this detailed knowledge? With a single ekāṁśena sthito jagat. So this whole entire universe I can support and maintain just a small spark of. And there are multiple universes like this which I am supporting. That also not the whole creation. The whole creation, there is much bigger creation in the spiritual world than the material creation. And the material creation itself is of unlimited universes. And in this, within the one small universe, we are a very small fragmental part. So, okay. Rajesh Parve Prabhu, you want to read the purport and then we discuss and conclude?
The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universe by his entering into all things as the Super Soul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Super Soul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the supreme personality of Godhead or the supreme goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is ãsamruddha, which means that no one is superior to him and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana,
that word is ãsama urdhva. Ãsama means one is not equal to him, and urdhva means greater than him. Ãsama urdhva.
ãsama urdhva,
yeah.
Which means that no one is superior to him and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Sri Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation. The Super Soul, who enters into everything that is pure devotees, therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. This is the way of pure devotional service. how one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhushana, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yat Shakti Lesat Suryadaya Bhavanti Atyaurja Tejas Yad ṁśa-sambhavam dhrutam vishvam sa krishno dasami dasamirchayat. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 10th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the Absolute.
Thank you so much, Rajesh Prabhu. So very, actually many points Prabhupada covers here. The first is the Supreme Lord represents throughout the entire material universe. So he says that atha bahunaitena jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idaṁ kṛtsnam ekāṁśena sthito jagat. So that ekāṁśa is also full of energy, and because of his energy, he enters himself into it. That's why this whole universe is working. So Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham, Brahmaji says in his prayer. Anda means the universe, and Paramanu means atom. So he enters in every universe down to every small atom as Paramatma. So as Paramatma, he is in our heart as well as he is in every atom. So when we say that the atom gets energy, what is the source of that energy? That's the answer here. Krishna is the source of all the energy. So, and then he says that from Brahma, the most gigantic entity. So Brahma is the first living creature in this material world. He is the one who was first created, down to the smallest ant are all existing because of Krishna. He has entered within them as Paramatma and sustaining them. We call ourselves Atma, even though Atma is a spiritual energy of God. Without Paramatma, it cannot even move. So within our heart, it is said that in the Upanishad, it is said that this body is like a tree, and there are two birds sitting on the tree. One is the Atma or Jiva, and other one is Paramatma. So Atma is trying to enjoy the fruits on this tree, and they sometimes are bitter and sometimes are sweet. So that is the happiness and distress that we experience. But Paramatma, the other bird, is just watching and witnessing this tree and waiting when that bird will turn towards me so that he can get free from those bitter and sweet bitter experiences, all this entanglement of happiness and distress. So that is Paramatma. So he is not trying to enjoy the fruits, but he is just sitting, always accompanying that bird and waiting for him to turn to him. That's what Paramatma is. Actually, in the 13th chapter also, there is a similar verse. Krishna says, Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. That I am Upadrashta. I am the always watching you, Upadrashta. I am the witness of all your activities. And Anumanta, I am also the permitter, one who gives Anumati, permission to you. And Bharta Bhokta. Bharta means one who is also the support, or one who is the maintainer of everything. And Bhokta, who is enjoyer also, the ultimate enjoyer. And Maheshwara, Maha Ishwara, the greatest of the supreme controller. So he's always with us, irrespective in what body we get into. Even a small ant or dog or cat or pig, whatever body we get, Paramatma is always with us. And that's why he is called Surudam Sarvabhutana. He is our supreme well-wisher friend, Surud. So that's why he's always with us. Prabhupada also mentions about here that many people think that, oh, I can worship any demigod, any devata worship is same. Why do you? Many people object that why ISKCON proposes only Krishna worship? Why not Ganesha worship? Why not Durga worship? Why not Shiva worship? Or why not other devata worship? There are so many demigods and all are equal. So in Krishna Vedic literature, they are all given respect, but there is only one worshipable God, and that is Krishna or Vishnu Tattva, all the Vishnu forms. And Prabhupada quotes a verse, or he actually translates the verse from Padma Purana. He's called as āsama Urdhva. There is nobody equal to him. Forget about nobody greater than him. So he has no work to do. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Natat samaschaabhyadikascha drishyate. Natat sama. Kathopanishad says. Natat sama. There is no who is equal to him. And adhika. Nobody can be greater than him. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. Para means that supreme Lord, supreme personality. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. And he has not one kind of energy. His energies are also multifarious, vividha. He has unlimited types of energies. And they are working swabhaviki. They are so nicely, swiftly working that we cannot even imagine when a rose blooms. It's a magical thing that we can see, but we think that, oh, this is nature working. We take it for granted. Forget about rose. Even while sleeping, we are breathing. Do we have to take effort to breathe? Even when we are sleeping, even when somebody is unconscious, he is breathing. But we take these things for granted. These are all swabhaviki. That's why they are so swiftly working. Swabhaviki, jnana bala kriyacha. All this knowledge, is intelligence is already there in everything. Even a plant, when you a small plant that always rise in the direction of a sun, and a small vine, छोटी वेल असते ती बरोबर कशाचा तरी आधार घेऊन वर चढते. It has intelligence built in that. Jnana bala, and there is always energy in everything, and kriya, every work is happening. So there is nobody who is equal to him and nobody who is greater than him. So when he says asama urdhva or nattas samaschaabhyadikascha drishyate, that means all the devatas are also not equal to him. There is nobody equal to him. And that's why in the Padma Purana, it is actually completely rejected, or actually somebody who considers even that somebody is equal to Narayana or Krishna, then that person is called the greatest atheist or pakhandi. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Devatam Samatvena ya viksheta sa pashandi bhavedhruvam. Padma Purana says. Ya means one who. Narayanam Devam. Yastu. But one who considers Narayana equal to Brahma, Rudra, or other devatas. If somebody says that Narayana is on the equal platform of Brahmaji or Shivji or any other devata, sa pashandi bhavet dhruvam. That person is considered as pakhandi for a long period of time. Dhruva means eternal, but our eternity is small. So this is completely rejected by our scriptures. In Padma Purana, it is said. But if one thoroughly studies the different descriptions and opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, one can understand without any doubt that Krishna is a supreme. It is all written in Bhagavad Gita itself. There are many other scriptures it is written. There are Upanishads, they describe the same thing. There is Bhagavatam, it describes the same thing. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So the Lord is all pervading, and his by the expansion of his partial representations, the super soul. So how is Krishna pervading everything? In the form of super soul, as Paramatma, as we described. As a Paramatma, he enters in every atom and every living entity's heart. So he is all pervading through his expansion as Paramatma. And the whole energy is called Brahman. So that's why Brahma, as we talked earlier, the supreme absolute truth is understood in 3 stages: Brahman, Paramatma, and then Bhagavan. But Bhagavan is the source of both Paramatma and Brahman. In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, last verse, Krishna says that his Brahmano hi pratishtaham, I am the source of that Brahman. So when we say aham brahmasmi, I am not God, I am God's energy. Aham Brahma, but Krishna is the source of Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So, but his energy, so everything is Brahman and everything is working as his energy. That's what some people go to that level and they think that, oh, everything is God. So that is the first level of understanding, first stage of understanding the absolute truth or Paramatattva, Paramasatya. But second level is, oh, he is everywhere, but he is also residing in every atom as well as within my heart. And that is Paramatma understanding. But then this is feature of a person who is the Supreme Lord, who has Satchidananda Vigraha. That is Bhagavan, and that is the best name for that God is Krishna. Krishna, ya akarsha, ya sarvam akarshayati sa Krishna. One who attracts everyone, irrespective what quality they are in. And one who is attracted to everyone, that is Krishna. And that's why Krishna is the most appropriate name for God. He can have unlimited number of names. As we hear from the very beautiful prayers by Bhishma, Pitamaha Bhishma, known as Vishnu Sahasranam. There are 1,000 names of Vishnu. So he has unlimited names. And his names are depending on his lila, his pastimes, his relationships, everything. But the most appropriate name for God is Krishna. So, and then Prabhupada concludes by Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary that Yash Shakti Lesha Surya Daya. So, by his Shakti, sun is shining. And Bhavanti Ati Ugra Tejasa. So, sun's teja we can experience. Now, you probably are experiencing this in Bharat in summer, that even though sun is so many thousands of miles away from us, but on a day it can burn us. It can, how ugra, ati ugra teja it is. So that sun gets energy from whom? He gets from Shakti of Krishna. So Surya gets Shakti from Krishna. Yad ṁśa-sambhavam dhritam vishvam sa Krishna dasosme archayet. And by his amsha, this whole Vishwa is supported. That Krishna I am worshipping. So that Baldev Vidyabhushan writes commentary on this chapter. So that's what Prabhupada concludes on. So I'll stop here, but very beautiful chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, and it establishes Krishna as supreme and how this whole creation is sustained just by a fragmental energy of Krishna. So thank you. We'll take some reflections. Hare Krishna, or any questions or thoughts you have. Yes, Prabhuji's. Is it now making sense? Now we are almost, actually we finished 10 chapters in last 5 years. So now is Bhagavad Gita, what is Bhagavad Gita? Is it making sense? Because generally we say we know Bhagavad Gita. It is our scripture. It's very beautiful, very deep, and very enlightening.
खूप जास्त वास्ट आहे सगळं विषय. त्यातलं आता थोडं थोडं काही गोष्टी लक्षात येतात आहे. पण अजून भरपूर भरपूर वेळ लागेल. भरपूर अभ्यास अजून करायची गरज आहे.
Thank you. That's
आणि
true.
म्हणजे जेवढं आपल्या बुद्धीला जेवढं कॅप्चर करता आलं तेवढं आपण घेतोय. पण स्टील भरपूर भरपूर वास्ट आहे.
हम्म.
एवढं सगळं आपली कॅपॅसिटी नाही सगळं एवढं अजून समजून घ्यायची.
बरोबर. To that point, I think I would go to verse where Krishna's in the same chapter we read 10th verse. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन माम् उपयान्ति ते. So how Krishna gives intelligence, buddhi, so that how we can understand him. So he gives the secret here. Tesham, to those, satata yuktanam, always engaged in my service, in my bhakti, and bhajatam priti purvakam. माझं भजन करतात कसं? With love, प्रीती पूर्वक. One who engaged in my devotional service with love and devotion, dadami, I give them what? Buddhi yogam, the ultimate intelligence. Tam, that, yena, by which mam upayantite, they can come to me, they understand me, they can understand who I am. Very beautiful shloka, just on the same point. So only thing what we need to understand, we don't have to go in such detail about understanding all the philosophy, all the science and everything. Krishna is supreme and my duty is to worship him, serve him. If we can do these two things, Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I'll give you intelligence to do that. So here says, to those who are constantly devoted in serving me with love, I give the understanding or intelligence by which they can come to me and they can understand me. So this is very simple thing. One who understands this, he understands everything. I hope that helps, Madhu Prabhu. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. So everything is Brahman, means everything is Krishna's energy. Once we understand that, everything, all this is done so that we understand that thing. Yeah, that's a very beautiful point. It takes time to understand, but we can continue our service to Krishna, offer him lovingly to the best of our ability, and then he gives us intelligence. Ye yatha mam prapaddante stam tathaiva bhajamyam. Krishna said in the 4th chapter. The way one surrenders unto me, I give them intelligence or I reciprocate with them accordingly. I think we'll stop here the discussion today then, if there are no more reflections. And then we'll do our round of chanting.